Everybody, welcome to the Let It Fly show, courtesy always Omaha Steaks, proud local company providing many iconic and legendary restaurants, especially in the Omaha area, including the soon-to-be-open Let It Fly Sports Bar in the Capital District, Memorial Day in 2013. I am Michael Severe. I'm joined by my co-host, of course, former Blue Jay Josh Jones, sitting here with us. We are taping again live from the Hail Varsity Club, where it's great food, it's a great time, and of course, a great time to talk about sports as well. How was your little kid Christmas? Because I miss having little kids. It's the best. How was that?
That was great. I feel, I don't know, like, I guess I should say I feel old now. I'm getting cashews and
ties and socks.
For Christmas. But no, It was good for him, man. What about you?
Oh man, it was good. It was good. We have I got a now 17-year-old and 13-year-old, so video games. That's all they want is video games. So it goes good. But having a little kid in the house, that's always more fun. I know.
And the way our family is set up, man, we do Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Oh, nice.
We do Christmas on Christmas Day. We buy him less because they buy him everything.
Yeah.
So it was good, man.
Yeah. Me, spoil him, man. If you can spoil him, you spoil him. I got no problem with that. Before we get deeper into the show, and we got a couple really great guests.
Yeah,
We've got a state champion who kicked the game-winning field goal at Memorial Stadium, the fifth of a game.
Right.
Tristan Alvano is going to join us from Omaha Westside. That's awesome. And then Big Woo. Steve Warren's going to join us. Warren Academy, former Husker, former NFL defensive lineman.
Yep.
Before we get to that, though, I really want to talk about DeMar and what happened. Of course, DeMar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bill who had a cardiac event during the game on Monday night, was down the field for a long time, had to be resuscitated. Of course, is in the hospital now. And right now, really good news coming out as of this taping, that they've reduced his oxygen and he's feeling, he's still in a coma, but they're feeling pretty good about him. One of the first things I thought about when I realized it was a cardiac event when they started talking about that night was you. Because since I've known you, I've known about, your issues with your heart and everything. What did you think about it when you saw it, knowing what you went through in your career?
I mean, even just talking to you about it kind of makes me, I'm not going to say uncomfortable, man, but more so like, it's like PTSD.
Oh, I bet.
I didn't watch the game. I don't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. But once I heard about it, like, instantly it took me back to December 6, 2012. I mean, it's weird for him because it's almost like a freak accident.
Completely.
And I mean, what's the odds of someone getting tackled and as their heart is beating, they get hit by another helmet? You think about the 9 minutes, to try to resuscitate. And I'm not sure if you know, but like every minute that you have to prolong resuscitating someone is a 10% chance of mortality.
Right.
Man, it scared whatever the explicit you can say out of me, man. It took me right back to that time.
Yeah. So yours was during practice, right?
No, actually, mine was doing a pregame warm-up against Nebraska. And for me, it was kind of awkward how it happened to me because I was a bit nostalgic. It was my last in-state, opportunity to play the rivalry, Creighton versus Nebraska. I didn't play in the Pinnacle Arena for our state championships, but the fact that the state of Nebraska had followed my whole entire really high school career and going into my collegiate career, I just thought it was the hype of the day that kind of put me in that circumstance. I just literally remember we had a shoot around in Omaha. We did the walkthrough. I just kind of felt like shortness of breath. And I was I sat down a little bit, took off my jacket. We shot free throws. And I was just thinking to myself, like, man, I'm too hyped. I need to relax.
Yeah.
Took a nap on the bus. I always sat in the back. That was my thing, hanging in the back of the bus. I woke up. I just, I didn't feel delusional or anything like that, but I just kept kind of sweating, in a sense. Went in the locker room, changed. Always had this thing where myself, Doug McDermott, and Jahans Menegas, we're always the first three going out. I always led the lines, I take a layup and a jump shot, and I remember someone saying, hey, Jonesy, quit playing with me like that. And I woke up, and I didn't even know I fell. I just sat up. I go back to the locker room, and, when I go back to the locker room, all of a sudden hearing these cheers, You know, he's a Husker. You know, Nebraska was one of the schools I wanted to go to out of high school. I had the unfortunate circumstances, but serendipitous opportunity from Coach Altman to come play for Creighton.
Yeah.
They're cheering for me because I walked to the wrong locker room. I was so delusional, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 100%. So I go inside our locker room, and by no means am I making this about me, but
no, I mean,
this is what went through my mind when I read what happened to him. Go in the locker room, I talked to our trainer, Ben McNair, you know, and I sit down, I say, I think I just passed out. I'm not sure, man, but check my pulse. And he checked my pulse, and it was beating too fast for his actual, the
device wouldn't read it?
No, his fingers couldn't read it.
Okay.
You know, then he went to got the device, and he started scrambling around like he lost something. And I'm laughing like,
he knew something was wrong.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Because I feel as calm as we do now. Turns out I had atrial flutter. The difference between what happened to me and what happened to him is atrial flutter and ventricular fibrillation.
Yeah.
It's not about which one I would rather
oxygen
have.
Going in, coming out.
Yeah,
right.
man.
Yep.
It's just scary. And like, you can't even like think about sports.
Yeah.
When something happened like that. Like, I feel for his family. I think about him often, like almost as if he's someone I know personally.
Yeah.
Just because it happened to me, one, but two, just the humility of who I am as a person. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
After that, and during it, what was happening on TV and what was happening in the studio.
Right.
That, you know, as a guy 25 years working in TV,
Yep.
I looked at that and that's tough. Let me tell you something. People don't understand when you're in a breaking news situation and you're talking about whatever it is.
As it's happening.
Right. Not getting information, it's hard. So I know that a lot of people were criticizing on Twitter the way, whether they were handling it in the studio or Susie or Booger or whatever.
Okay,
And I'm telling you, man, you've not been there. It's literally impossible. And when you're talking about something involving life or death, it makes it much more difficult.
Right.
And I want to say, I've known Booger McFarland since he was 16 years old. I covered Booger in high school down in Louisiana. And he's always been a guy that was always straightforward and tells you what he thinks.
Right.
I thought he did a great job. He was right off the top when Susie asked him and said, so how do you get your mind ready to go back out and play? And he said, that's not what, you don't think about that. We're not thinking about that now. All we're thinking about is Damar Hamlin's health. When he said that, he was dead. Because I was thinking it in my brain, how are they going to get back out in the field? But he was exactly right. He was great. Ryan Grant was great later. SVP was great. I thought Joe Buck had a really good tone to explain to people how serious things were, because you got to kind of drop your voice. I don't know what Adam Schefter was doing up there, because his job was to give you history and everything else, and he didn't necessarily. But I thought the way that was handled, we're talking an hour of not knowing what's happening, watching a guy essentially dead on the field, and having to talk about that.
So the circumstances was they were doing CPR out there for time.
9 minutes,
And in that whole amount of time, everyone's just waiting to see what's happening.
Well, it starts off where they're just like, let's go to break.
Oh, okay.
And when they come back from break, you can hear it at that point in Joe Buck's voice that it's become really bad. And he says a phrase going to break. He said they're working on him. And when you hear that, the first thing you think of is CPR. And the first thing I thought of. And so then they send it back to the studio. And when they get back to the studio, those guys, they're kind of trying to figure out what to say. Eventually, Lisa Salters decided, in that situation, what you have to have is a journalist. Someone who can seesaw. In media, that means you see what you see and then you talk about it. And that's what she did. Everything she saw, she gave us. And then John Perry, who was the guy who handles the referee questions, he was great. He was incredible. He was on the phone. He's on the mic with New York and going back and forth with that. I thought the way they handled it was the best they possibly could have. Because it was a situation that no one's ever been a part of before in the NFL situation since 1971. That's how long.
Freak accident,
and have to deal with something like that.
Like, I think about what you said about Booger, and for me, I think about when I was an athlete myself. When you got that brotherhood, man, you spend more time with them than you do your actual own family.
Very true.
And so, like, I can understand the reaction to all the players, and I think the players, their natural and authentic reactions is what make us as casual fans and even those who are diehard fans more understand. So for me, anybody who does not have familiarity to the situation, man, they really need to evaluate themselves.
Well, you watch the
prayers up, man.
The guys crying on the sideline, and I always tell people my favorite part about doing this job since I've been here in Nebraska though too is watching guys like Steve Warren, Damon Benning. You guys hang with guys that you played with years later. Yeah. Because you always had that little thing that clicks. For sure. I love that. Yeah. We transition now because I told you we have great guests on the show. Right. Omaha Westside plays kicker, and of course now it's signing with Nebraska. Hey, Tristan Alvano joining us here. Yeah. How you? It's been a wild month for you, man. Yeah, it's been. Hold on a second. Let me get this. Got him up. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, we got to get it on for him, man. I got to hear everything he's saying.
It's certainly been a little crazy since the state championship game. Just life's back to normal now, but the first few weeks were chaotic for sure.
Yeah, you got the smile of somebody whose life has changed. But for me, man, you don't look braggadocious, so I'm going to brag on you a bit here, man. I got these solid bullet points. 27 field goals is the most field goals in Class A history.
Record?
50-yarder and a 45-yarder for the game as time expired.
Yeah, the record.
5 field goals is the most in any state playoff game in the history and tied for any game overall. Mm-hmm. And lastly, you were 119 of 120 in your career in extra points.
What happened to that one, man?
Got blocked.
Hey, yeah, right. Hey, do you remember that one?
No.
That's what's up.
It's like a team, though, really, because the long snapper, the holder, and yourself have to work perfectly to make all that work, right? What kind of relationship do you have with those guys?
Oh, man, Will DePuter, my snapper. I mean, we work every day, just along with Marty Mormino, my punter and holder. I mean, he's just the whole trio is just phenomenal. I mean, we work in and out every day, just a lot of work behind the scenes that no one really sees, kind of just on our own at practice, and just being able to really see that and just see it showcased on such a big stage at Memorial just shows hard work pays off.
You obviously look really confident when you were going out there. When that drive is happening, the last one, and it was obvious that Westside was setting up for a field goal.
Right. Especially with a guy like you.
And they knew they had you. So you're on the sideline. What are you doing? Walk us through those moments when you're on the sideline as Westside's going down there trying to get in position.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really just I'm over by my kicking net, just kind of warming up and getting ready to go, and then just talking to myself, all positive self-talk. I mean, obviously I'd had 4 attempts previously before that during the game, and so I mean, I was filled with confidence, just believing in myself and my unit to go out there and do the job, and thought something was funny that I mean, you look back and watch the TV version of the game after, and you just see. You see Coach Benning just smiling. He's just smiling the whole time.
Because he know, bro. He know.
He's seen clutch.
Yeah.
He knew, and all the coaches looked stressed out, like they were about to have a heart attack, and then Coach Benning was just there, just smiling. And he just knew.
Right. Yeah. And for me, man, I'm going to pivot and then come back to the question I was going to ask you about the pressure of that moment. I know I'm gonna just ask because the whole world want to know, bro. Growing up, kids want to be the quarterback. Kids want to be a wide receiver.
Running back, yep.
How did you become a kicker?
Just years of soccer.
Okay.
Been playing soccer my whole life, and family thought I should try kicking, and so I gave it a try, and that kind of came naturally to me my freshman year, and then each year just kept getting better and better, and just working on the technique, and then. Over the course of time, I just kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah, you make people love the position a lot more, man. You're so good at it. I'm not just gassing you up, I promise. With that being said, you kicked a 50-yarder in that game, right? Has there been any other practice, or are you just kidding around where you kicked something further before, or is that the furthest you ever kicked?
57 a game, right?
Yeah, I had 57 against Papu, I think.
See, I missed that. I missed that. Yeah. Okay, what about other than that? Anything further? 62?
Messing around?
I think the day before the state game, we were doing live field goal unit, and I hit a 60-yarder. That was
wow. That's what's up.
I think the focus was obviously there, and we were ready to go, and that gave us all confidence before the game. And then little did we know, about 24 hours later, we were going to have 5 field goal attempts in a game, it's wild.
Man.
Tristan Alvano joining us here on the Let It Fly show, taping here at Hail Varsity Club. So let's walk back a couple of months before that, because a lot of the conversation was, were you going to be a walk-on, if you were going to go someplace else, if you were going to leave the state. And I know people like myself who saw you when you were, forget that, heard you kick as a freshman and heard the boom of the ball. I thought that had been a horrible loss for Nebraska. But walk us through the recruiting process of how everything has gone along to this point now being a signee.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think last spring during high school soccer season was a little crazy. I think that's when it really first started to pick up. I mean, I'd gotten my recognition, gotten my ranking through the Coles kicking system and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I'd been going on some visits, all around the Midwest, all around down south, and just going on some spring practices and getting to check out some really cool places. Like, I mean, I went to Florida spring game, which was really cool, and then obviously checking out like Alabama, and then up to North Dakota State and Minnesota and Iowa, and seeing all these great programs. Nebraska really didn't come along until really late in the process. I mean, they were probably one of the last schools in on me. The old staff kind of just overlooked me, and I was really thinking like, all right, I'm just going to go to school out of state. I didn't expect to a few months later be committed and signed to Nebraska. But over the course of time, when Coach Mickey Joseph was named the interim head coach, he reached out and they got me a preferred walk-on offer during the Minnesota game. That was kind of my first Power 5 look. Mm-hmm. And then a few weeks later, we speed up and the state championship game happens. The next morning, wake up with a full scholarship. And that was a crazy turn of events. And
right.
then get a Boston College offer a couple weeks later after a good workout with them. And I mean, I really liked that coach and their school. Obviously, it was a little late in the process for me, and it was just too close to the signing day, and felt like it was Nebraska and the new staff the new relationship I have with the staff is great down there. Coach Foley, Coach Rule, all great people, and that's where home is now.
Yeah, man. Have you always wanted to be a Husker? Would you say?
It's
truthfully, you don't listen. You just keep it real. It's only me and you here.
You haven't been long enough. You haven't been alive long enough from when they were good. So I mean, it's fine.
Well, honestly, I never really expected to be playing football. I mean, I think this point last year, I still was really, really considering going down the college soccer path.
Is it because of the love for it or the recruiting about it?
Both. I fell in love with football this past offseason, really working with it.
I would too if I kicked a 50 and a 45. No, I'm playing.
And then, I fell in love with it last offseason. And then obviously just taking visits to these really cool places that I would have never expected myself to go to. I mean, I just made me really open my eyes and think like, okay, well, you might have a career and future in this different sport. I mean, and then I really, really explored it and just stuck with it, and that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, okay.
At all levels, when I was growing up, you didn't see the field goal kicking at the accuracy now, the distance. Why do you think field goal kicking's got? Is it because of things like Coles Camp or Warren Academy? Why do you think guys have gotten so good at kicking the ball?
I think there's just a huge appreciation for it now. I think coaches, head coaches, the special teams coaches are much better now, and they're really putting time and focus and carving out, 10, 15, 20 minutes in their practice to make sure you run the punt or field goal or kickoff units just to make sure everything's aligned. And then I think it comes with kind of a generational piece. I think every 5 to 10 years you see a little bit of increase in the talent and what those kickers and punters have to offer. I think just over time, people evolve and get better, and there's I think that's how it's been improving over the course of time for sure.
That's a good point.
Yeah, or maybe it's social media in my eyes. You wasn't, posting kicks on Instagram, You might be a part of Dude Perfect, something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, the guys that were really talented, a lot of times you get moved to different positions that people think are more skillful.
You look like you can play receiver, bro.
Yeah, because what are you, 6'2"?
Yeah.
6'2". I mean, obviously put together. So I think people maybe back in the day maybe moved you someplace else and took you from kicker.
Oh, well, Coach Benning was telling people in preseason that, I could play safety if I needed to.
Wow.
That's news to me.
Yeah, that's just him believing in you.
Just watch Caleb and follow him. There you go. You have a favorite kicker in the NFL, a guy you follow that you emulate?
Yeah, I think I really like Evan McPherson for sure.
Oh, okay, Cincinnati, right.
Yeah. I just think, being an NFL kicker is really, really hard because you miss a few kicks and you're out of the league.
Yeah.
You have a job. I mean,
there's
32 jobs and that's it.
Yeah.
And so I think, really supporting Evan and just knowing that, the whole kicking community is supporting those young NFL kickers is huge. And so that's kind of why I kind of just really, really like support and watch him.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that we need to do every time I ever talk to a high school athlete. Let's give ultimate props to mom and dad getting you to practice, doing everything. Kind of talk about them a little bit, being a part of getting you here.
Yeah, I mean, I played baseball. Obviously, my dad played baseball in college. Played basketball, played soccer for years and years. Done all the travel and hotel chaos and just the rain delays, the canceled games, canceled tournaments, all the long plane and car rides, just all the meals, all the hotels. Just they definitely deserve all the credit for sure. I mean, then just to kind of not go down that route at all, then go down the football route.
Yeah,
which
I was about to say that.
Yeah,
I was about to say you're in the minivan, soccer mom. Then all of a sudden your dad say you can play football. Did it happen like that or?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I never played football as a kid. Whether I wasn't too interested in or just that didn't want to get hurt because I thought
my mom would not let me play, bro.
Yeah,
a lot of moms, yeah.
and then they honestly my parents and my grandpa just said, you have a kind of a big leg on the soccer field. Let's give kicking a try. And then I say, okay. So 4 years later, now I'm committed to go play for my home state school. Like that's
awesome.
It's just I mean, it's just God has a plan, and you follow it. But it's crazy how fast it happened.
What about your high school team? I mean, let's kind of talk about that. Like, not just about like what makes that team so special. Like, you did 4 years of high school, man. You look back at it, even when you were in college, just as a personal former athlete, there was a lot of days where I reminisce on my greatest moments with my teammates. What about Westside? What do you think about?
What are you going to miss from that?
Yeah, what are you going to miss about that?
Definitely that's the bond with my teammates. I mean, we have such a strong culture here at Westside. I think that's one of the best things about our program and kind of our edge compared to the other programs around the state. And
plus, your facilities are amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, we got obviously I think we have the best home field in the state.
Definitely.
I mean, Phelps is a special place, and then just even having our practice field on the baseball field, that's all turf, by the way. I mean, we're really fortunate.
Hey, did you ever go to the Thompson basketball camp?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Dean Thompson and his family, they do a nice basketball camp at Westside. When I was a Blue Jay, I ran that camp every year, So I'm just curious if you did or not.
So you played basketball when you were little,
Yeah, did you ever play basketball?
Yeah, really little. Yeah, Coach Hepburn actually.
Greg Hepburn.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's good too.
So we've stayed in touch over the years, and our families are close. But yeah, that's
awesome.
That's as close as you get.
You're playing basketball. Hey man, we really appreciate it.
You're the man,
Congratulations on everything. And good luck in the future in Nebraska. Thank you, Tristan Alvano from Westside, of course, state champ, and of course heading to Nebraska now as a signing member of the 2023 class.
Right, he's almost making kickers and new quarterbacks.
Dude, if they would have lost that kid to anywhere else, it would have been absolutely ridiculous. Hey, Big Woo, come on up, man. Come on up, Steve.
It would have
been ridiculous because I'm telling you, as a freshman, I heard the kid kick. And turned to Mike Sauter, who's the expert in high school sports, and I said, who the heck is that?
Man.
Because I was told a long time ago by Wes Chandler, was an NFL receiver, played for the Saints, was a quarterback, was a wide receiver coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and told me once in an interview, he goes, I can listen to somebody catch the ball and tell you if they're good.
Wow.
Listen to it.
Wow.
Well, hearing that kid kick the ball, I knew how good he was.
Yeah.
So, former Husker now, former NFL defensive lineman, of course, the founder of the Warren Academy, dream everything. He's got his hand in everything. Big Woo. Steve Warren joining us. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to come on.
Hold on. Look at the humbleness,
isn't he
man.
cool? He just,
hey, man.
He's too chill,
you the godfather, man.
I was raised right.
This is a man who once sang Amazing Grace on the radio with us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. It was one of the great moments in the history of the former unsportsmanlike.
Well, that's his character, man.
It was really good. It was really good. So when I first met you, we were in your basement, and I was doing a story for Channel 7. I think it was the first year of Dream. And you guys were putting all the sign stuff and getting everything ready. And I thought, man, this is going to be a heck of an accomplishment. And they get this done. You look back 12, 13 years ago now, whatever it was. Did you expect to have an academy? Did you expect to get to this point?
At the beginning, we actually wanted to get to where we are now. We wanted to do it a lot faster. But it was always the goal to get back into sports. We started with the education side first and the mentoring and the community side first, just because when I got done playing football, I was kind of done with football. I didn't want to do a lot with sports. And then the more I stayed away from the game, the more it kind of grew back in me of wanting to get more involved and do things. So, we knew once we started training and doing different things, we wanted to get back involved and to be where it is now. It's fun to see.
And that's Warren Academy.
Yeah, Warren Academy.
I was telling Mike before you came up here that, like, and I'm not just saying this, you are one of the most humble men I have ever met in my life. It's like, I know so much about you, but I've never, ever heard you talk anything about yourself. So while we're doing this,
go ahead.
I'm going to run off some of the stuff about you just to let the people understand who Steve Warren is as we talk about the Warren Academy. I can just start off by saying 1999, first team All Big 12, third round NFL draft pick by the Green Bay Packers. You're part of the black shirts.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what those are anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Tristan and those guys, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, those are just some of them. And I'm going to just keep running them off, man.
Yeah.
But, like, I just feel like I got to commend you and give you your flowers right now because you do the Warren Academy almost without even mentioning any of this. And the buy-in that you got from the youth and their families and the success rate you got going on right now, man, it's nothing but commendable. But like if they really want to look into you, you actually walk the walk of the talk you be talking, man.
Yep.
And it's amazing as I look at it. You're a national champion.
Yeah.
And you sit here like you never won before.
I mean, we didn't start this for us.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time that it's not about me. It's about the kids that we serve and the kids that we try to get to the next level.
Yep.
I've had all the bright lights and had all the fun and everything that came with being a professional athlete and a high-level athlete. We want the kids that we work with to experience those same things. So we take ourselves out of it and put them in the forefront of it.
Yeah.
And it works for us. You know, that's just who we are as a culture. And I say this all the time. Like I had to be convinced to name the sports side of it Warren Academy. Like my board actually made me do it.
Wow.
I didn't want to do it.
So you didn't even want it to say Steve Warren at all?
Till this day, I hate that it's Warren Academy because I didn't want people to think that it was about me. But from a marketing standpoint, I got it.
Yeah, I mean,
with the stuff
you
that
are who
we've
you
done.
are. You can't deny that.
So the board convinced me that we should do it. But it's never been about me. And we've got tremendous coaches. We've got a staff that's phenomenal, and I really get out of the way.
Yeah.
That's how it really works.
Yeah.
Is me not being in the way.
Okay.
Because, you know, a lot of times, like, I want to do a lot more than we're probably needing to do.
Yeah.
So I rely on the people that I've hired to do their jobs,
Understood.
their jobs, and then I just help kind of guide the direction.
One of the hard things about being a football player in the state of Nebraska is, unlike Texas and Florida and California, they're year-round, right? I mean, they're doing spring football. They're training all year long. A lot of those guys isolate on just the one sport. Are you kind of filling that gap a little bit of not having the ability to maybe do year-round football by providing what you provide to help them with fundamentals and things like that?
When we started, 2008 is when we started the 2007, 2008 is when we started the sports side of things. And we were the only ones that were doing anything besides a camp. You know, a lot of people were doing camps, you know, 1 day, 2 day
You mean like
things.
performance enhancements, like personal?
We were the only ones that were doing things that were ongoing.
Yeah.
So we started really the clinic side of things, of really going not just 1 day, 2 day camps, of starting with kids and training them for an off season. But now, you know, that's changed. Now there's so many different levels of training and so many different specialties and people coming in and doing things now. But when we started, we were pretty much the only ones doing it. And we're still kind of the only football trainers. There's a few guys that do positions, but we're like the only academy where you can come get every position, and it's not one guy doing every position. I've got, I think, 32 coaches right now.
Wow.
Staff.
So if you have 32 coaches, how many? What's your success rate? Like, what's the kids that come in to Warren Academy? I know everyone wants to go D1, but how do you talk to them about? Hey, look, I know you want to go here, but according to where you're at versus where a great opportunity is, you can go there.
Yeah.
Like, how do you mold them to understand that it's about more than just D1 or whatever that is?
It's relationships, right? Like getting kids to, like you guys said, it's buy-in, right? Of them trusting who we are and that we know what we're doing, we know what we're talking about, and we know that we can help you if you listen. And of course, everybody, we want everybody to shoot for the moon, right? We want them we want them to want to be D1 athletes, but the reality is everybody's not going to get there. So we have people on our staff that have played NAIA football.
Yeah.
That have played Division II football,
yeah.
right? That have played arena football and NFL.
So this is
football.
really about paying it forward.
Yeah. So this is guys that have done these things, so they can speak to their experience.
Yeah.
Of what it's like to play at smaller levels. And I've never heard anybody that's played at a small school say, I hated playing football in college.
Right.
Like, you're not going to hear it, right? Most people that go on to play college sports love their experience, no matter what the level it was.
Yeah, Steve Warren joining us here at Let It Fly show. So on Monday night, Max Duggan's going to play for a national championship. Local area kid. Lewis Central could have obviously been at Nebraska. We've seen other guys leave. How frustrating is that for you when you see these guys come up? You know they have the talent to be in Lincoln, but whatever reason, maybe they don't get recruited enough or whatever, they end up someplace else.
Max has been through the facility and done stuff with us and trained with us. His high school coach is on our staff.
Wow.
So we've seen that from the beginning, right, of how good these kids are that were leaving the States and not really getting a look. So it is frustrating to know that you have guys that are at, Heisman Trophy levels that could have been in Lincoln and helping out. But who's to say that it would have happened the same way for him, right? So everybody's path is different. But it is frustrating to see that. But one thing that we do pride ourselves on is not really pushing kids towards a school.
Sure.
Right? We try to push kids towards their best fit. And if it's not Nebraska, it's not Nebraska. Now, I'm a Husker. I'm a black shirt.
Yeah, because I had a question for you on that one.
So I love when kids go to Nebraska, but I also love when kids go to Oregon and Auburn and Morningside and other places because I love them to have opportunities. And if the best opportunity is not Nebraska for them, I'm going to cheer for them either way it goes.
Right.
If it's at Nebraska, I'm going to cheer for them a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But if it's not there, then I'm still going to cheer for them.
So where is the disconnect? In your opinion, especially being on the inside as a former Husker, in the Husker Hall of Fame, I got to throw that out there, man.
Yeah.
Stop playing with me, man. Like, your accolades is crazy. But where's the disconnect? Why do you think the Huskers haven't recruited? Is it the Huskers haven't looked in state, or are we looking elsewhere because of the culture has changed and we haven't been back to our glory days? I mean, it's a new era of football, but like, where's the disconnect at for Nebraska in our in-state talent?
I think every staff's got a different philosophy of the type of kids they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the disconnect has come, is the type of kid that they're looking for, the type of player, or prototype this, prototype that. And some of the kids' measurables just didn't fit what they were looking for.
Yeah.
But that many years, though?
It happens.
Wow.
I mean, we've seen it, right? Like, it happens. Like, guys just miss. Like, they've had a lot of misses. We got one right now, Zane Flores, right?
Amen.
Zane Flores, and I keep saying his name wrong.
The greatest high school football game I've seen in the state championship.
Yeah.
2008, Central played Millard North. My buddy Ronell Grigsby hit a flip and a touchdown. That was electrifying, but that game that we just watched, Westside versus Gretna, it looked like a college football game.
Yeah, insane.
It was elite.
Yeah.
A lot of talent.
And it's not like Zane hadn't been doing it. As a sophomore, he was great.
Right.
And he beat teams. As a junior, he was great, and he beat teams.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
How does a guy like Zane Flores not match up for our, a guy like that you just can't miss. There's several guys like you said. I don't know.
I think it's just, I don't know why that happened.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have happened, but it did. I hope that it works out for Zane at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, we all cheering for him.
I hope it works out for him down there, but it shouldn't have happened. He shouldn't be leaving the state.
Yeah, for sure.
I joked years ago, what needed to happen was you guys needed to have more kids. The former Huskers, right? So we got Sam Sledge, we got Maverick Noonan.
We got them all coming
We're
now.
starting to see more of that.
Clemson got a few balls.
No doubt. Talk a little bit about the development of guys like that, because obviously Maverick and Sam come from good stock, but they also got to be developed. And I know you've had a chance to do that and stuff. Can you talk about those couple of guys?
Well, so Sam, somebody that we haven't worked a ton with. We actually do Creighton Prep strength and conditioning, so that's the way we've really worked with him. He's done our camps and everything, but Maverick we've seen a lot. He's in the facility a ton, and his father's done stuff with us. So, those guys are they're different though, right? They're just different. They're built different. Like Maverick is just built different than everybody else. Like he is. Yeah. His mindset is different. The way he goes about his work is a little bit different. So he's always been a kid that I knew was going to do great things just because you weren't going to outwork him. Like he was going to come in and outwork everybody else. And then, of course, he's got the measurables, right? So
for sure.
He can move. He's got the size. So, but I'm happy. Dante Lloyd was my roommate in college.
Yeah.
So Jalen is like my nephew, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see him get his opportunity. And Dante and I spent a lot of time on the phone about Jalen and the move from Central to Westside. Yeah. And how that worked out for him. So there's a lot of kids now that I'm happy that are getting their shot, and I love what Rule and those guys are doing. That they're spending more time. Yeah. And they're not really looking at the measurables. They're looking at the kid and looking at the athlete and the football player.
You didn't mention his mom, though. I mean, if you want to talk about the talent of the family, I mean,
she'll talk to me. She'll talk to me about that too.
She was the director at CSI. Both my kids went through CSI, and I knew her. And I was a nice lady. And then I look at her, I'm like, my God, she's 11-time All-American,
which is crazy.
I mean, that's incredible.
How can people get involved with the Warren Academy? If I'm in the state of Nebraska, the city of Omaha, no matter where I'm at, I want to get that work. Steve Warren, how do I get in touch with you?
Just through the website, warrenacademy.com. Everything's on there that we do. You can contact the website. My assistant will make sure that she gets back in touch with you and get you plugged into whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's strength conditioning, speed and agility, position training. They luckily, I said I got good help. When you contact us, somebody will be back in touch. But social media, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We try to stay out there and stay active and stay to where people can get in touch with us.
What's next for you? Because I know moss grows under your feet, man. I know you're always at something, and I know you want to help all the kids in the metro too. So talk about what's coming up next for you guys.
So we have a showcase next weekend.
Okay.
The 14th and 15th, the Unsigned Senior Showcase, and then the Top Prospect Showcase. So the Unsigned Senior Showcase is for kids that are under-recruited, have not signed yet, that are still looking for opportunities.
Wow. Yeah.
And then our Top Prospect Showcase, which is kids that have been nominated by their high school coaches as the top kids on their teams. And so we have a few colleges coming in. Luckily, we're in a period where colleges can come in and evaluate these kids. So it's something that we've been doing for the last few years, and we've been successful in doing it. So we're excited to see that happen again.
It's awesome, man, what you're doing for
Appreciate
everybody
you
getting
guys.
stuff done.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you guys.
Them big meat hooks he got. All those things. We appreciate it.
All right, love y'all. Thank you.
Steve Warren, Warren Academy, one of our guests here on Let It Fly show. Before we wrap it up, I want to get into Creighton a little bit because I don't think we're a jinx. Okay?
No,
but
right?
We started the show, and they went on a little bit of a losing streak.
Man.
And then we took a little break on the show, and then on a winning streak. They play Connecticut on Saturday.
Right.
Very good Connecticut team coming off their first loss to Xavier. What's your feeling about? Obviously, Kalkbrenner's back.
Yeah, I mean
that's everybody better.
I mean, he's a key piece.
Yeah.
I don't like when one of your key players go out and then the trajectory of your team changes and you go through something that Creighton went through.
Yeah.
Because now you'll have momentum. I mean, it's 2022. A lot of people pay attention to social media. You don't want to
23 now.
Well, 23. That's crazy, right? I'm stuck in the past. But you don't want to get in the sense where you're starting to feel internally man, if we had him or
sure.
we definitely need him, but what about us?
I know what you mean.
We're supposed to have his back. It's all about the nucleus.
Right.
You think about the last 3 games, man. Honestly, I feel like whatever's been going on those practice floors has paid off because they have been playing their best basketball so far. And we are in 2023, as you mentioned. And, I mean, I'll run off some of the things right here. I mean, just playing against Butler on the 22nd was a win. DePaul, 2.9 million people tuned in on Christmas.
Nice.
Won that game.
Yep.
Creighton's best performance this season with the 83-61 win over Seton Hall. They shot 11 for 26 from the three-point range, dished out 22 assists on 29 made baskets, and led by as many as 32 points.
Yeah, Coach said it was their best first 30 minutes.
Yeah, they slow roasting.
Yeah.
And the thing is this. Like, we don't want to get into – because I can keep listing things that they did from that perspective of offense, but you know where my heart is. That defense. We stepped it up. They must have heard me complaining or something, man. I'm telling you. Because on the defensive end, Kalkbrenner alone, I'm glad he's back. He tied his career high with 6 blocked shots. And actually, Trey Alexander started off with that. There was an offensive push-off from Richmond. And Richmond is like the leading scorer in the Big East. You know, his stats are 18.3 points a game on 56% shooting, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And he finished with 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 4 points, and 2 for 7 shooting from the floor. It's all about that heart.
It is. And a different leading scorer each one of those games, too. You know, Kalkbrenner had his game. Shireman had an amazing game. And then you have Kaluma that had the double-double. And so it's helping everybody out. But having him back in is a big thing. Saturday's a big.
It is.
I mean, because, look, it's a long season still. But you want to match up with the best. And right now, that is the other best team in the Big East.
And it's good that you go through those 3 games because it's one of those things where you just can't get caught up in the record because you know who you are. You know? And going into these next 3 games, the accountability, the toughness. I mean, you need guys in timeouts holding each other accountable before Coach Mack even talks. And we've seen some of that.
By the way, Sharif playing better off the bench.
He must have heard me too.
Getting the free throw line, and getting himself some points. So
it's just everybody being selfless, not complaining about their personal self. And digging into each other.
Last thing before we go, we talk about Creighton basketball. Nebraska basketball has played literally the toughest schedule in the country. They played 7 quad 1 games as of last night playing Michigan State as of this taping. It's amazing the schedule, and it's going to get worse. Because they're in the Big Ten. Obviously, there's a lot of and you want to see them play well. And you know they have it in them. But I mean, eventually you're going to get worn down by this, right?
Where do they rank as? Where would you say they rank, or if you know the stats of where they rank as far as the toughest schedules in the country?
Well, they're the toughest schedule in the Big Ten.
That's
by far.
And the Big Ten is tough.
So Nebraska's strength of schedule just since January 1st. It's 18th nationally coming into the game last night. And there was no other team in the Big Ten that were in the top 30.
Wow.
And no Division I team has played more quad 1 opponents than Nebraska. Michigan State was their 7th one. They played Oklahoma, Memphis, Creighton, Purdue, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan State, and they got to turn around find Purdue again on the schedule.
Well, I can't give them this. You know they got fight because of what they did to Creighton.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
you know it's in there. You know it's in there.
Exactly.
And even against Michigan State, they're down by 22, and they cut the lead down to 12, got to 10, and then, couldn't get it all the way back, but still it shows fight.
It's tough, man.
We want to see all 3 teams.
Yeah, definitely.
All 3 Division I teams
despite
play well.
Me, I guess I can say that at heart, I'm a J-sker, and that's because I'm homebred. I'm from Nebraska. Definitely Creighton basketball all day. I feel like it's Nebraska football and Creighton basketball for me.
You're not the only one.
But realistically, though, all I can say to the Huskers is they just got to keep doing what they're doing.
Fighting,
with what they got. It's tough with that tough schedule.
It is tough with that schedule. So I want to thank everybody that came out. Tristan Alvano, of course, came out and talked to us
New
from
Year,
Westside.
man.
Happy New Year.
2023.
Steve Warren as well. The folks from Hurrdat, Pat joining us, and of course Sasha as well, making sure the show gets going. All of that as well. Josh and everybody else, all the bosses and stuff as well. Everybody for that. Hey, you know what I'm going to let you do?
What's that?
I'm going to let you send us off. By the way, next show coming up, we are going to have our next show is January 10th. We're going to have the Outland and Remington Trophy winner, Owu Owatimi.
Can't wait.
The center from Michigan. I've been practicing that all day. And he'll be on, and also we'll have Creighton forward Morgan Malley as well. She'll be on. That's on January 10th taping right here. But I'll let you send us out.
All right, I'm going to give it a shot.
All right.
It's your man, Josh Jones, with my boy, Mike Severe. You know how we do it. It's the Let It Fly show.